Este es un trombone.
Okay.
El trompete. Uh, how do you say that? El trompete. Tres valvos.
Okay. The valves on the trumpet. Bonjour, everyone.
Totalmente español en el chato este día. Dia de Español. Bienvenidos, mi amigos y amigas.
A friend of ours she is from South America and has her children have always spoken Spanish at home.
See?
Her oldest son almost failed Spanish because he spoke it.
No creo.
He didn't really speak it or write it. I mean, he didn't read it or write it. And having the correct way to write things out, and whatnot. He just about if it wasn't for the fact that he spoke it fluently, he would have flunked it.
See.
I don't know. Apparently, Felix is hungry. He's got a chupa in there. And that's something that you get at a Mexican restaurant.
Cabarone. I don't know what is cabarone. I gotta look
Well, I
that
was talking
up.
about the chupa.
Chupacabra. Uh,
Good morning, everybody in the chat. Sorry, we just kind of like started off in the
we're in a weird mood.
behind the scenes. Started out with me going, "Cómo está?" which is about the most Spanish I speak. And my French is even worse. And I took 3 years of French in high school.
Sí, es verdad.
I'm
Hey,
glad I don't understand Norwegian.
you don't understand Norwegian. I don't either. Eso se traduce como tales old. Gracias, Lagoso.
So I guess in the Spanish silver and gold stacking, you're poppy instead of pops.
Pops. 24K started that about me about 10 years ago.
God, you were young.
He figured out that I was the eldest in the silver stacking group that we kind of hung around with, and so 24K started calling me Pops, and then everybody else did. Cyber Curtain Twitcher did, and Como sta is Italian. Como sta? Como está usted? No, that's Espanol, but you spelled it Comostesta. You spelled it wrong for Spanish. Yeah, como
10 years,
sta is also Italian, I think.
um, 10 years ago, that means that Felix only had 2 wives and only 3 kids then, didn't he? Now he's got 6 wives and a dozen
Yeah.
kids.
When we went to Italy last, God, it's been a year ago now. I was surprised how much Italian sounds like Spanish. It's quite similar. They're both Romance languages. I don't know why they call them Romance languages, but that's what they call them. Part of the old Roman Empire, I guess. Romance, Roman. Sí, el Romano Empire. I guess empire is empire in Espanol. Pape es mi mejor amigo.
Okay. Okay.
Gracias, Lagoso. Tu es mi Es- Especial Niño.
Romance languages all derived from the Vulgar Latin, with his, and that includes French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian.
Romanian,
Yeah,
really?
it's from the Latin Romanicus. There's your little class. There's your little language class this morning.
Don't say you didn't learn anything right here on today's show,
That's
folks.
right.
We're here to teach. We're here to learn you. Educación es bueno. Huh? Why can't I change this?
Good morning, fish.
Hit the translate button. I wonder if that'd work. So, my mother-in-law went to the emergency room yesterday evening. On to the hospital in Waco. They got her, she was having a heart arithmetics.
Yeah, arrhythmia.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
And
arrhythmia.
she got back to sinus rhythm last night at 2 a.m. And now they're testing for pulmonary embolisms and doing echocardiograms today. So,
How old is she?
mid 80s, like 85, 84, 85, 86. Let's see. Uh,
Good morning, Carol.
yeah, mid 80s. Joanna.
So is
Harlan.
Greta. I don't know why I say Greta.
Gwen.
Gwen. Yeah, I know why I say Greta, because my cat's over there scratching in a damn litter box, and that made me think of Greta, which is a cat that that Roberta had before we got married, or she had when we got married. So there's my light train of thought. Anyway, how's Gwen doing? She back?
She's probably tired as hell right now because she wasn't full speed after her surgery. So now she's having to stay up all night with her mom, taking her to hospitals and stuff. They sent her from our little community hospital in an ambulance to the Providence Hospital in Waco. So,
Good morning, Mike.
ugh.
No, she is not younger than me. I'm only 65, going on 66.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, my mother-in-law is only like 18 years older than me. And Gwen was the baby in her family, so yeah. Gwen's, yeah, crazy Mike.
No, I don't have poofy hair, Felix. Well, my wife had to go back to the office today. She's got to go in 3 days a week.
Tom, you are not 65. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I am. Who said I wasn't 65? I need to send him something.
24K said so.
Yeah, I am 65. I will be 66 December the 3rd.
Daredevil Carol.
Yeah, tell Gwen that we're thinking about her mother.
Yeah, we all get old and need help, but geez.
You're such an ass, Felix.
What do you say?
He says you look a lot older. Well, that's all right. I'm getting ready to have my hair dyed, and I'm getting to get some a facelift and get rid of all these wrinkles.
Why the hell would you spend $100,000 doing that?
Because I have a young wife. I got to start looking better.
Oh, okay. Well,
Roberta's 9 years younger than I am. No, I'm not getting all
so,
that shit done. I wouldn't if she wants. If that's all the reason she stays with me, then she needs. One of us needs to pack up and move.
hmm yeah, probably not the reason. She married you for your personality. That's
Yeah,
it. Your
that's it.
personality.
Good morning, Beth. Good morning, Mike. If I didn't say good morning a while ago,
I think Gwen married me because she felt sorry.
I, she married you for your money.
It was a pity marriage. A pity the fool who wants to take me out on a date. I pity him. Anyway, yeah. Tom, do you support monopolies? Why not?
It depends if I
Depends.
have a piece of it or not. If you're talking about relationships, I can't keep up with the one that I got. More or less trying to keep up. So that's what these old guys. They get hooked up with these like 20-something-year-old girls, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? She's just getting cranked up at night when he's ready to go to bed. I guess Felix has that.
Uh,
Felix has that problem. He's got that 19-year-old wife.
that's not possible. His son is in college.
Well, I'm talking about. Well, he's got multiple wives. He's got a harem over there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So his
So
son's got a
anyway,
stepmother that's just about as old as he is. Lag said he bought a bunch of Morgan dollars last week. Are you telling the truth or are you lying, Lag?
he's if he's lying, he's dying. Yo no creo, lag, no creo.
Yeah. I wish I had some hotels.
Wow, silver jumped up a bunch this morning.
Did it?
Yeah, it went from 22.80 up to 23.20. Boom. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long that lasts. I don't know what that's about. Why would we do what crazy thing? What are you talking about?
Marry these. I think he's these young.
Oh, marry somebody young?
Yeah, like that.
Gwen's 7 years younger than me, man. I robbed the cradle.
Well, Roberta's 9 years younger than me, and I catch shit from my brothers about that all the time.
Yep. Well,
I saw your video on your coins, that little gadget that you got, the little sliding board.
yeah.
Does that work for anything else besides coins?
It's not meant for anything else, but
I mean, like if you had an earring or something like that, that's
no, because it requires a flat surface
okay.
like a coin.
Okay. Well, or like what's a St. Christopher medal? That's usually flat on the back. I mean, I'm just curious.
It could maybe. And it depends on how top heavy something is also.
Right.
I mean, you can't put like a 10-ounce silver bar on it.
Right.
But if a silver bar has a flat surface, you can take a small neodymium magnet and just place it on the bar, and then the magnet will slide down slowly. But Yeah, like, all right. Here's a sterling silver earring. If I can get it out of the little baggie. I need to get this listed. It's been sitting on my desk for about 6 months. This one has a broken post, but it kind of slide, and it's kind of flat on one side. It kind
Right.
of slides a little slow, but nah.
Back when I was in high school, everybody wore St. Christopher medals, and nobody was. I mean, very few people were Catholic. It was just a fad.
Yeah. Mr. said he spent the weekend with an ass. He did. He showed me a picture out at his son's farm. There's a donkey. Pretty funny. Robin! Sorry I'm late. Enjoying coffee in the backyard. Yeah, 98 degrees.
What's it supposed
Well,
to be there today?
let's see. Let's check the weather. The weather report brought to you by the Tom and Todd Show. Oh, it's cooling off today. We're only getting to 104. That's going to be 3 or 4 degrees cooler than yesterday.
24K. Don't you know that more men have died with heart attacks from sex and pooping on the toilet than they have in any other thing?
Probably. Hey, hey, Azure Blue.
That needs to be on a T-shirt. Azure.
Stacking Brothers.
Oh, it's 95 degrees where Joanna's at. That's Illinois, isn't it, Joanna? I figured that.
Oh, Carol, that wasn't nice, you little vixen. Said he was hanging with an ass.
Joanna, those apples look good that you canned.
Thanks, Sadie.
Are those just straight up just the apples? They don't. You didn't have them like spices, cinnamon, and stuff like that in them.
What are you talking about?
Her Joanna's apples that she canned and made a video.
Oh,
on. I was trying to catch up on videos over the weekend. I had them.
She's got a good bunch of gardening and canning and
Yeah, she's smart.
Food prep stuff.
My mom used to do that, and Dad used to do all that. At night, we'd sit down when I was young and living at home, especially when butter beans and that kind of stuff, things that had to be shelled.
Cinnamonum.
We would sit in the den watching TV shelling. Okay. We would sit watching TV and shell butter beans and peas and stuff like that while we were watching TV. Is that like chai latte? Felix? Sugar pie, what are you? Yes, Mom's not here today, so you got to irritate me, right? So, did you have any big sales over the weekend?
Morning scan. No, it was a slow weekend of sales.
I
I've
sold two
only
seats.
I've only got 8 packages going out. That's slowed way down. I don't know why. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday were real slow sales, but man, that was gangbusters for like 2 or 3 weeks before Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday just been slow. Maybe the good stuff that I had in my store just sold and there's nothing left but crap. That's a possibility, I guess. Do, do.
What is 20? Who was blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Azure Blue. Who? What is BRICS?
That is Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa, and India.
Did you
I
Google
didn't,
that?
I didn't, I didn't say them in order.
Right.
The BRICS nations are having conferences right now. They want to develop a separate currency and get away from the petrodollar is one of the main topics. So the BRICS nations are trying to turn 70% of the world's population into basically a separate economy from Europe and America's economy. So, yeah, there's probably some lesser nations in it, but the BRICS are the main ones are Brazil, Russia, China, India, South Africa. Uh, BRICS are going to try and get around trading in U.S. dollars. Yep. They,
Well, all I got to
they're,
say is what's not good for the United States is not good for the world. Because we're the ones that buys all this useless shit from all over the place.
yeah. We're,
Scott, my name is THOM for one, and you're an asshole to bring that up first thing this morning.
Bidenomics.
But I'm gonna tell you what, I was at the grocery store over the weekend, and some of the shelves were looking a little empty and or thin. And I asked one of the managers that I know over there. I said, "What's the deal with this? Y'all's truck not come in?" And he said, "It did. They just didn't get a lot of stuff in." They're so just saying, not wanting to start a rush or anything like that, but you might want to pick up an extra can of pinto beans.
Dang, they are on you.
I know I'm pulling up Chat GPT so I can ask him find out some answers.
And that's sad because I'm like a year and a half older than you. So I'm like, well, this sucks. They're calling Tom old. I've got no hope. I don't know. When remember when I was young, Mom would say, "Act your age." I'm like, I thought it was.
First of all, the Mayflower arrived 403 years ago in November. To be in this kind of shape, as bad as it is, and be 403 years old, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all. I'd probably be on national TV getting paid to talk. What's your secret, Tom?
He was busy cleaning the ark. Yeah, he was a stall mucker, and why do they call it a mucker? Somebody who cleans out stalls, horse stalls, cattle stalls. It's called mucking. Where'd they come up with that word? I suppose a small person mucking stalls would be a little mucker. Tom's first cruise was on the ark. There you go.
It's actually derived from from mining, because that's the one that would load debris and ore out of the mines. Well, that's basically what it is. I'm not laughing about what likes is, because likes a dumbass.
Dumbass. Yeah, what was it? Speaking of sales, what was my best sale for the weekend? Nothing really. Didn't have any banger sales.
That's all right.
Sold a 2 pair of boots. I sold a Redskins sweatshirt. My best sale was an Akai cassette deck, AKAI vintage. So
I sold 2 bike saddles and one of these, which is the sprocket off the back of a bicycle, and a chain repair kit.
sold a
which was about
Pioneer
$300.
Pioneer tuner for $65. I'm sure going to take a picture of the serial number. I still haven't got any resolution. I got to call eBay again. Our scumbag politicians and athletes like LeBron sold us out to the communist Chinas for greed and power. LeBron works with Chinese. Didn't know that.
He's a basketball player, and that's a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know LeBron James?
No.
Okay.
And actually, I thought his last name was Johnson.
Yeah. Except for maybe
Mr. Sadie, you need to do a YouTube video that says, "I'm quitting eBay." You'll get 10,000 watchers before the night's out. Because all of them that pop up on my feed where people are quitting eBay, the video will hits 1,000 or better. Okay. Well, if you people spend your damn hard-earned money for something made outside the country.
Nearly all sneakers are made in communist China.
And see, I don't understand.
It isn't just LeBron. It's Michael Jordan. It's Kobe Bryant. It's Kevin Durant. It's all those guys. All those shoes are made in China.
And those damn purses that you spend $2,000 or more for, you can buy them in China from the factory for $35. My brother-in-law bought 3 of them while he was over there and brought them back to his wife. Which makes you think, if these tennis shoes cost $100 at the daggum retail, how much would it cost to make them in the U.S. and still make money? Because retail stores are dying left and right.
Wrangler blue jeans used to be made in the USA, but they were all made by illegal aliens here. Made in the USA by illegal aliens.
But see, that goes back to the point of these companies have so many stockholders, and they're all wanting their 25 cents. And if they don't, if these companies announce they're going to get 24 cents instead of 25 cents, the daggum companies go down the toilet real fast, because they're in bad shape.
Really, Lag? Dak Prescott is getting cut by the Cowboys? Huh. I mean, he's certainly nothing special anymore, or ever was.
I'm not putting that back up. No. He's gonna knock him over, Dad.
Dang cats are knocking your crap over. Cats on the loose. We need to keep them a bad team. They weren't bad last year. They made the playoffs. Oh, I didn't know Wrangler still had a factory in the U.S. But that's the Wrangler blue jeans made in Mexico now are still made. It still says on the label that the fabric comes from the U.S. So at least Wrangler blue jeans are partially U.S. even if they're sewn in Mexico. Mariota. Huh. Golly, how much is left in the preseason? When does regular season start for the pro football? It's not too far off. Yeah, Levi's has gone even farther away than Mexico, huh?
Well, we're going to be screwed if everything starts getting really expensive to ship until they bring those nuclear-powered
New
ships
Balance.
online.
Yep. Mine are made in Vietnam.
How you people can sleep at night knowing those people made 50 cents an hour putting together your damn shoe. Oh my God. That sounded like a lefty there. Scott will ban me from ever being on his show again.
Hey, Tara. Hey, Jim. Yeah. You sold a tie. Man, every time I try to list a tie, it just sits there. It never sells. September 7th is regular season. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't spend but like $8 on that whole bag of crap lag.
I heard Tom's turning to the left, Tom.
And I heard, but I figured you'd come in on that. You know, I know this good old boy who he does a lot of leather work. And he made his wife a purse about 30 years ago that she still carries. And it looks brand new.
Is anything manufactured in the Rust Belt anymore? Around
Well, like steel
Cleveland
stuff
and
and that. I mean, wasn't that all like auto industry and steel mills and that?
Yeah.
and
Not much.
We
They
got that.
manufactured everything. Tools.
Glendale, the Ford is working with like a South Korean company. They're putting in that big battery plant, and it's like over 40 acres under one factory roof, and they have multiple buildings. I mean, it's a huge building. So I mean, these buildings are just immense to this battery factory.
They ain't made a watch battery yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, all it is around the clock. They're working there. You know, I drove by it last night. I mean, there's like big bright lights on, and I mean, it is really some building to see.
Yeah, when Ford goes back to rolling out those electric F-150s, they'll be working real hard.
Yeah, but they're not. That's all that's for. That's just for the batteries at that plant. I mean, it is huge.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know if they'll mine enough
They need more kids.
lithium to.
I know there's a shortage. You're trying to do that one kid policy and stuff. No, they gotta let the kid factory roll, because those little kids, they can get those little spaces to get that lithium
or cobalt or whatever. Yeah.
Sadie was made in a Chevy.
Oh, we used to. When we lived in northern Wisconsin, we had like all those cranberry marshes up there that we were like, I think the second producer to Maine. Is Maine the biggest cranberry producer? So, yeah. And I think us up in northern Wisconsin, we had like ocean spray and everything. You could do the cranberry tours. You could go to Cranberry Fest. People drive from hundreds of miles to buy these raw, fresh cranberries.
I think they ought to have fests up there just called Money Fest. Yeah. Because they got a Apple Fest, Pumpkin Fest, you name it, Fishing Fest. They ought to just have one called Money Fest.
There's this thing called the Three Lakes Winery, and everybody drives up there to go get their cranberry wine. And...
Yeah. Isn't Cat heavy equipment still made in America?
Google it, Todd. You'd have to Google it. I'm not that knowledgeable, you know. I'm not like a thesaurus of information.
Watch his hand. Is he Googling it?
Yeah, I am.
Is he right clicking?
East Peoria, Illinois. And north, let's see, large type tractors are East Peoria.
It's Peoria.
Mining trucks are
It's Peoria. The way you're saying it's kind of driving me nuts. It's Peoria.
How about John Deere tractors?
I think they're still made in either Iowa or Illinois, and I think International. Do they still make International, or they get bought up by
I don't know.
There's
a big plant in Fond du Lac for John Deere lawn equipment.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because they're going to shut it down. Oh my God, I was selling real estate down there, and they threatened to shut the factory down. I mean, I was booked all day for a real estate agent for doing those market analysis, and then they decided not to shut the factory down. So I didn't get a single damn listing out of all those, and they were all over there by Fond du Lac. I had to drive to go to it because there was just a shortage of real estate agents to do all these market analyses. I didn't make a dime off it. It was a nightmare.
So
John Deere is made in Georgia, Tennessee, Wisconsin, and
Wisconsin.
So heavy duty machinery, moving, earth moving equipment, stuff like that, it's still manufactured in the U.S.
Oh, I
I
suppose it
would
would have to be because of
swear
the
to ship.
shipping on it, and it's big. So I mean, you're not gonna. It's not like containers where you have millions of items in containers. I mean, I'm sure there's components of it. Like gaskets or rings or whatever that are made overseas and shipped over
It's
and
going to be
assembled.
balance sheet. I mean, the day it becomes cheaper to manufacture it overseas, that's the day it's going overseas. So I mean, that's like whenever you make the cost of production more expensive in the U.S., it's going to go overseas, or it's going to go to wherever it's the cheapest. So when you're beating up on those corporations saying we got to tax the living daylights out of them, and everybody's got to have these living wage pay raises and stuff like that, and special parking spaces and forever pensions, you got to remember every time you raise that rate, you're pushing those guys overseas. It's because they have a responsibility to shareholders. The corporation can't say, "Oh, we're just doing this for kicks." I mean, they got to turn a profit.
Yeah, but $500,000 for a Sigma jig made by John Deere is a big ass tractor.
Yeah, it's a field tractor.
Yeah, but
I mean, there was a guy back in the 80s. There was a guy down in Chester County that bought a tractor, a John Deere tractor. It's one of the big 4-wheel drive ones. That sucker was like $250,000 back then. But that thing would pull a disc harrow that was like 150 feet wide.
but
So when he started, he made more money dissing up people's property than he did farming, because he could go in and do a 100-acre field in no time.
Nice.
that's still farming.
Yeah, his son,
But
who I knew, they would run that tractor just about all the time, because there were so many people that thought, hey, we'll pay him, a couple $100, and he's going to come in here and diss this thing up in a day, and it'd be a lot cheaper.
Well, these commercial farms, it's economies of scale, and it's a romantic thing to have, mom and pop farm and the kids working it on a, 80, 120 acre farm. But you'll never compete with a commercial farm because of economies of scale. When you buy that $500,000 tractor or whatever, you divide it by how many acres you're working. If you're working a 120 acre farm, that tractor is going to be a lot more expensive than it is if you got a guy with 50,000 acres.
Yeah.
That massive farm pays very little for the equipment because it works so much land. So that's why eventually the little guy he's gonna make less money than the big guy every year, and every year is gonna fall further behind, and eventually it's sad, but eventually they go out of business.
yeah, it's tough to keep up big farming with a Kubota tractor, I would expect.
Well, they make some pretty big ones too. But
Yeah,
you know what?
Kubota makes some decent mid-sized field tractors. I mean, yeah, I don't think but you could definitely use it to move round bales around.
aren't they
Farmers
all
have to do that too.
manufactured in Korea or somewhere?
Yeah, I
Kubota?
think, aren't they an Asian company?
Yeah.
But that Mahindra's U.S.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's got that funny name, but it's like a combination of some guys' names or something. It's Mahindra's actually a U.S. tractor.
There's a guy that's in another chat that I'm in. He lives here, and he lives in Greensboro. God bless him. His family is from out west, where they had like 1,500 acres of wheat field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he and his brother inherited it, they were off on their own because they had been supporting the farm for years. When his father passed away, they did not have any interest in getting into the farming, hands-on farming. So they leased it to one of these big agriculture companies. So at least, so they could, they weren't getting rid of the farm. They weren't getting rid of the land because, as I believe, dirt's more valuable than gold.
How many liter
Well, they're not
engine
making
is
any
a
more,
Ford
but
Ranger?
Pardon me?
How many liter engine is a Ford Ranger? It's about
how big is a Ford
2.6.
Ranger engine?
It's a 6-cylinder or a Ranger. That's
Well,
the
they
little
make
one.
them fours.
It's only a
too.
My
4-cylinder.
first question is, who cares? No.
It's only a
I was
4-cylinder.
gonna say the 2.6. I think Mr. Sadie got it there.
They still call a Ford Ranger a truck. I don't know. It's kind of a small.
It's
It is
not
a
really a
truck.
truck. It's not a truck.
Let's just be honest.
It's cute. I mean,
Y'all are just prejudiced.
what? It is cute. Like if I had to go to town and get some groceries or something and wanted something that's good on gas and buy a dozen eggs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're handy like a car.
You gotta
Bring
get
them
an
damn eggs
F550,
into it.
so you get past that that Super Duty label. When you get to the 550, it ain't a Super Duty anymore because everybody just knows what it is. You don't have to
when you get up
advertise
to
it.
550, you're not talking about a damn pickup truck either.
Well, that is true.
Hey Tom, would your grand
'Cause that-
piano fit in a Ford Ranger?
My wife.
Your grand piano fit in a Ford Ranger.
Oh my God. I don't know nothing about hooking horses to equipment, but don't the Amish use stuff like Belgians
Oh
and
my
that to
God.
do that?
A
I
2000
mean, a mower would be pretty heavy, and I don't know. Are you gonna buy one of those like gear-driven, wheel-driven, horse-drawn mowers? Or are you gonna buy one where you put the engine on it or something like
back
that?
up. You remember those Buick Centuries in the 80s? Those little 4-door.
And oh wait, can I say one thing? And a dump brake, if you're gonna try to bale it, you wouldn't use a dump brake because a dump brake's for putting up loose hay where you move it into like piles and stuff like that. You would need like some kind of windrow rake.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, I had a Buick Century 1984. It had the straight 4. They call it the Iron Duke, the 2.5 liter. Okay. It got good gas mileage, but not a powerhouse. The 2024 Ranger, I think it's got a picture. It's shaped like a truck. But anyway, it takes a. I had a Honda Civic had a 2-liter.
Well, I had that Sunbird.
I had a 2-door Honda Civic that was like the base motor. It was a 2-liter. So they're putting a 2.3 liter in these 2024
You gotta have
Ranger
them good
pickup
on
trucks.
gas.
Good Lord.
I think I had that Sunbird. Was that like a 2.6?
I just buy a Ford Festiva and cut the back off it and turn it into a pickup truck. Turn it into like a Subaru Brat.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I will never let you ride in my Ranger then. When I send it out, when I go out to the airport to pick you up after you get off my jet, I'm gonna make you ride in the back of my Ranger because I'm not letting you sit.
Tom, you don't have a Ranger.
He used to.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have one.
They used to survey, and surveyors do like Rangers because they're little and easy on gas. You could throw your survey crap in the back of them.
And meter
You see
readers.
a lot of
Meter readers.
And you know who else used to drive one?
What?
My mom. She had a nice red one. It was real cute.
I
used to have
one.
a
I had
S10.
I had one, and I really liked it.
I'll tell you what though, I don't know how long your bed was. She had a Ford Ranger with an 8-foot bed. It looked ridiculous. The bed was like the longest part of the truck. It was pretty funny. It was a standard cab with an 8-foot bed, Ford Ranger. It looked like there was definitely something wrong with it.
I don't have a need. I don't have a need for two things. I don't have a need for a Rolls Royce, and I don't have a need for a 250 pickup truck. Yeah.
Some things you don't.
Yeah,
know
I thought you were
need.
gonna buy those horses with your brother.
I don't have to have a truck. I don't have to have anything to pull it with.
Sometimes you don't realize that you needed something until you're sitting in it. That's
you
like, oh
got
my
it.
God,
I can call
Where have you
Ben
been
over.
my entire life?
I
Why
can
weren't we
call-
doing this the first day we met?
I can call Ben over at Enterprise Rental Car and say, I need a truck. Can you deliver one to me? And he will bring that sucker over to me.
All right, Colonel Tom.
Well, if you need me to move around a couple Ford Rangers, you can just throw them in the back
Jim,
of a
what's-
flatbed.
Listen, my
Can
brother's
you
got
do
a
this
daggum
with
truck for a
just
trailer for his
$15
truck that you could probably put two F-250s on, or 2,500 Chevys or Dodges, whatever brand you want to throw on there. So I can haul stuff if I need to. And his transmission went out on his 15-year-old Ford F-250.
120.
And when the guy told him it was going to cost him like $7,000 to put another transmission in it, which he was going to have some other work done while he was doing it. My brother said he did not even blink an eye because those things are like $60,000 a pop now, or better for a stripped down model.
That thing is a truck.
I think that's just as fugly as can be.
It
I don't
looks
like the way that looks. I
looks
mean,
like-
yeah,
What is it?
it's that Cybertruck from Tesla. It looks like something out of Mad Max.
Whoa.
Yeah. Looks
What
like
is that
Marty
transmission?
McFly would get in
Oh, I
that.
didn't catch that part.
Yeah, how old are the batteries?
Well, it's a new thing. It's the Cybertruck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if the batteries get old, don't put no more money in it.
Now this is like brand new. This is the Cybertruck is this year. It doesn't even look like a truck though. What would you put in the bed? I guess
You
it's kind of like a Hummer where I guess you can go through anything. I don't like the way it looks. Looks like something from Tron or something.
You can order one for $100. Look.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's a deal. You could resell that,
You
buy
could
it for 100 and sell it.
You could fill the bed with potatoes and make a giant.
It
potato
doesn't have a
battery.
bed. It looks like a giant oversized angular car.
And it hauls a bunch of potatoes. That's how you power it.
All right. That's just. I don't see any rounded shapes on that. It's all angular.
Looks like a stealth fighter.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe it flies under radar. And then it runs out of electricity.
If
got
I had,
nothing against them.
if I had as much money as Todd, I would go out and find me a 1960-ish Ford Ranchero and have that sucker rebuilt from the chassis up.
Oh boy.
Pull out some of that silver and have it get some fenders made for it.
It's
Those-
a
those-
sterling.
Oh yeah, those sterling
They
silver.
do that like in Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia
they
where
really
they
pop.
like
Have you ever seen one of those sterling silver cars?
put
They
pressure
pop.
in the
They're-
hair.
Yeah, nothing like silver paint don't hold a candle to actual
Yeah.
sterling.
Isn't there one of those oil guys that did that?
Yeah.
It isn't gold, is
Yeah,
it
some kind of-
sterling?
I think it's an Audi. It's some kind
Oh.
of fancy Audi he had done in sterling silver. Had the fenders replaced with solid sterling silver fenders, not plate.
But you probably could take that 1960 Ford Falcon Ranchero and drive it into the side of a daggum new Ford F-250, Chevy 2500 or Dodge 2500 and total that damn new pickup truck because that sucker was nothing but pure ass metal. American steel. Anyway,
Made in America.
and that's and another thing too is because it's so old, it wouldn't have any of that computer shit on it. So when that big old EMP hits the earth, you know,
Hey, Tim.
I can go out there and crank it up and go.
There you go.
It's Tim, right? Glock is Tim. Isn't that
I don't know.
Anyway, morning.
Good morning, Glock.
He's talking to somebody. I don't know.
They have it written down somewhere.
My nephew-in-law has a Tesla, and he really likes it. He says the charging is not a big issue. You know, he didn't buy it. He didn't buy it because he was saving the economy. I mean, the environment. He bought it because it was cool, and he's young, and he wants to be hip by owning a Tesla. But he said he really likes it.
The problem is he ain't gonna take this thing to a dealership later and then try to trade it in for another car, right?
No, because they have no resale value right now.
Yeah, because you're done. It's like a stick of gum. Once you chew it, it's gone.
But the amount of miles he's put on it, he'll probably be as old as I am before he even needs to even think about getting rid of it because he drives it to work. They drive it local. You know, when they went to Raleigh a couple weeks ago, they drove his wife's car.
Yeah, but there's
No,
only
that don't matter. Those batteries die on time.
Oh, well, I know
It's
that.
okay.
But I'm just talking about, you know, it's American made, so it's going to fall apart.
Well, yeah, you do have a point there.
But he really likes it. He says it's not a real big deal about charging, and he just plugs it in at night.
Well, you do have to buy the special. I know Eagle River that we used to caretake for, they had a Tesla, but because they would come up to the vacation house, so they would plug it in, but they didn't have like you have to buy the special charger, for your
They were
garage.
too cheap.
They were too cheap. So they would drive it up from Chicago and then plug it in, and they had to leave it plugged in. They didn't get to drive it around up in Eagle River because they had to plug in the whole back to Chicago.
Well, that's also been a while back.
Yeah, so that's like 6 years ago now.
He says he can plug it. He can be on half charge, half battery. Plug it in when he comes in from work, and the next morning when he goes out.
Yeah, but he's got that charger converter thing that you put in your garage at your house.
I guess.
You don't just plug it. If you try to get your orange extension cord out and plug it in, it probably takes longer.
Yeah, it's probably going to melt in your garage floor.
At least go to one of the big black cables, that's thick, that can let some wattage go through it or volts. Or
no, you need to buy the special charger if you're going to charge it.
Yeah, but he's got one, and
well, you were asking though before Todd was asking about are they making anything in the U.S. in the. I picked up Brandon's. We call it the Gronk machine. This thing that he rushes. It's for guys.
It's like a tackling machine.
Anyway, we bought it online, and I went to Lima, Ohio, to pick it up, which isn't that far from us. Anyway, that little 2.3 liter engine they're putting in those pickup trucks. They make those. They call it the Lima 2.3 liter, and they make them in Lima, Ohio, right now. So they are still making engines here.
Mr. Sadie said that his 15-year-old granddaughter drives an F-450 pulling it.
But she's got that petting zoo and stuff where she's got like ponies and camels and llamas and.
When I had an when I had a Chevy half ton, I thought, oh, this is all the truck I'll ever need. And then I wound up using a 3/4 ton. I said, you know what, this thing's got some more beef to it. And then working on it, I'm underneath it. I'm like, yeah, this is a lot more truck. And then we went to the 1 ton, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really this will haul anything. And then trailers get heavier and whatever, and now with the 550, it's like I don't know why I didn't have this one in the first place. Should have been the first truck I ever had.
But you got to think about your use on trucks. My dad, his last truck he had before he got sick was an F-150 King Ranch, which means it's got more features on it than a damn Rolls Royce or Bentley does.
Yeah, mine don't have nothing like that. It's industrial.
God forbid if you were going to put something in the back of that truck, you had better not throw it over the side of that truck. You better walk to the back, push the little button so the tailgate goes down, and then throw it in the back of it. He would lose his shit if you were to try throwing stuff across the side of his truck because they drove it everywhere. My son has got my mother's Honda CRV. And it's a 2000 model. It had 70,000 miles on it because it literally was driven to the grocery store, to the beauty parlor, and to the church. I mean, it was literally a little old lady's Jeep. They drove his truck everywhere, and so it was always dressed to the T's. Okay. It was a Lincoln Cadillac of the pickup truck. That's all right. The petroleum product is totally unimportant because we're all going to go electric.
I'm gonna fight it.
I'm going
diesel. I'm gonna burn that. And diesel's $4.09 a gallon. Yep. I saw last night at the gas station.
Because you know why? Because it's worth it. When you can lay that black smoke down the highway.
Why is gas going up again? Because I see I think gasoline's like $3.50.
How are they going to drop the gas prices before the election unless they're high now?
Oh,
same thing with these interest rates.
We got something to look forward to.
Yeah, if they're going to get the interest rates up and they're going to get the gas prices up, and then right before the election, just in time, somebody's going to ride in on a white horse in a knight's outfit and shake his sword around, and they're going to drop interest rates and they're going to drop fuel prices are going to drop. Make my words. As Ricky would say.
Yeah. Diesel in Saudi Arabia is 15 cents a gallon, but well, I've already lived here and I can't move across the world.
Can't drive a truck across the ocean.
Yeah. We had one of those submarine trucks we could. We might get crushed.
Yeah, my truck, it reminds me of I had a Chevy Nova as a kid. The lady ordered it with nothing. I got it used. But I mean, when she ordered it from the factory, it still had the thing in the glove box. She ordered it with no options, nothing. It didn't even have a cigarette lighter. It had an AM radio when all cars already had FM radios too. I had to buy an FM edition thing so it would have FM. And you know, rubber floor mats, it didn't have carpet inside, it was rubber. That's with an F550. It's a work truck. The only thing that's fancy on it is the seat, because the guy took a Jared King's Ranch leather seat and put that in there. But I mean, the dash, everything is just everything's gray plastic and rubber. It does have FM radio, but it's like the crappiest FM radio you can have. So, but anyway, that's because it's made to. It's
Oh, it's 60 cents a gallon. Anyway.
Chevy love.
If you got to worry about how much your fuel costs,
I didn't have.
you shouldn't have one.
I never had a Chevy Love, but my uncle had one, and that thing was rough because he was a mechanic. That sucker was rough. It had a 3-speed in it. It was rough, but you know what? He drove that thing for about a couple of 100,000 miles before a drunk ass from North Carolina ran into it.
Oh boy!
And being that I'm from North Carolina, but I was never a Chevy Love kind of person. And the only reason I'd like to have like a Ranchero from the 60s is they're different. First of all, they're real metal, but they just look different. And all the dadgum vehicles today look alike. You look at you could put a Hyundai, a damn Mercedes, you know, Mazdas all together, all black with gray interior, and line them up, and you would have be hard pressed to tell which is which.
They're all crossovers now too. They're all these like.
Well, what's if is it Maserati or Ferrari? The one that makes the crossover thing with the guy with his trident. Is there symbol?
We saw?
That's
Maserati. I think it was Maserati.
I think it's a Maserati. Yeah, they make a Maserati, ugly ass. I call them. They look like a gym shoe. They got the same kind of like striping, like kids' gym cars. They're station wagons. They try to make.
They call them crossovers.
It's like because it's like a station wagon and a minivan had sex and made the ugliest baby you could possibly drive around. They just look, all of them. When you drive one, our thing is basically one of those things. I guess we have a Lincoln Aviator, but it's about the same thing. Yeah, and I hate the look of it. I mean, it runs good and everything, but I just hate the way it looks. It looks like a station wagon and a minivan had a baby, an ugly baby.
Do you like Maseratis, Felix?
I think he owned one. Or owns one, I don't know.
They're like a status car over here because they have a fancy name on them.
Maserati.
Oh, I bet you got this.
Chevy Equinox.
An Equinox, that's like a mid-size, or is that that's not a compact, or is that a compact?
I know, Mr. Sadie. Sometimes I wish I could go back in time and like go back to the 70s and 80s.
Oh, like a 69 Malibu?
No, like just in life. Like if you could reverse time and like now instead of being, you know, getting old like in the 2020s, we could be getting old in the 80s, you know, where life was easier.
You got in a car accident, there was no seatbelts, you were going right through the hard windshield. Yeah. You knew you were going across the Rainbow Bridge. You had nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's one of the signs of getting old. You start thinking, oh, it was so much better back in the 70s and 80s.
I wouldn't want to be a teenager again.
I would be a teenager again if I knew what I knew now.
Well,
like if I could remember everything, hell yeah.
Yeah, because I would have the energy. I would be working as many hours as I could, and I would be hoarding every penny I had. And all those I bet you my brother and I destroyed $1 million worth of GI Joes.
Wow. I'm up at they got the Kentucky State Fair has a World Championship horse show right now, and I have a friend of mine that's helping a pony farm. They're paying $1,000 a week and give him a hotel in Louisville to help clean harnesses. They have like 40 head of ponies there, and let's say 30 of them are customer ponies for sure. There's probably more. The base fee for day money for what the farm makes, and the owners have to pay their own entry fees and stuff like that, is like $4,000 or $5,000 for a pony. So for 6 days, that's like what is that, like $130,000 just in day fees that get collected on those ponies?
Okay, and we're signing up for this where?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try to get in on that gig. I kind of tried to this year, but I didn't make it.
We need to try harder.
Anyway,
Okay. I'm going back to what Texas Bandit just said about being 17 again. I just have a question. Where were all these teachers at when I was in middle school and high school sleeping with their students? Because I had some pretty fine.
Jim had a weird teacher but he didn't sleep with her. But he had a weird teacher when he was in Catholic school, and it wasn't a priest; it was a woman.
Yeah, we just did hand stuff.
I mean, serious. Where were these teachers at? And what's wrong with these little pussy ass boys that they would start telling people about that?
Well, let's see.
You don't know.
Boys like
I mean,
to
when you're
brag
there,
about that stuff.
I was like 10 years old. I mean, sure, I knew about Playboys and I knew about girls and stuff. Like, knew something about girls. But I mean, when she's like rubbing your back and putting her hand on your thigh and stuff, you don't understand what she's trying to do. She didn't get nowhere because I was like, what? But I mean, oh my God. She has us all over. This is a small Catholic school. There's like 9 boys in this. She has us all over to her house.
Just the boys.
She's going to teach, just boys. She's going to teach us how to play guitar. We're getting guitar lessons. I remember she's in these short, like tennis shorts, but super short, and a white tank top with no bra. And we're like, oh, okay. But even as kids, it's not like really titillating. It's just like, okay, boy, this lady's nipples are sticking out. So anyway, but she's like hugging us and like pressing up against us and stuff like that. And but I don't know if she got to the end zone with any of the guys. She didn't with me, but I mean, looking back though, I mean, today it'd be like, and actually she wasn't bad looking. But I mean, today you just say, okay, I know what to do in this situation. But when you're like 10, you don't know what the hell they're getting at. I mean, I guess I understand like a guy's 15 or 16 or something like that, and he gets with a 24-year-old teacher. Hey, birds and the bees, I can see that happening.
I don't approve of it. Let me say right then, I don't approve of teachers messing around with their students. I'm just saying, why did I not have this opportunity when I was a teenager or a middle schooler?
I don't know.
And I had some pretty good teachers. That's because teachers back in them days had morals.
Well, I've heard of like
my mother would have
girls
come
like
over
in
and
high
killed
school
her.
getting a crush on a teacher, but yeah, I never saw it the other way around.
We're terrible. We are terrible. Todd's a student. Todd was a teacher.
I was a teacher.
I'm abstaining from this conversation.
Uh-oh.
That means he's guilty.
No, I was a good little boy.
I'm talking about when you were a teacher.
I was a good little boy when I was a teacher too.
You know what? I only remember having one male teacher when I was in elementary school. Yeah, just one. And I only remember him is because I got a paddling from him one time. Because I didn't have my pencil. I lost my pencil on the school bus.
He beat you for losing your pencil?
Well, he popped me one time with a ruler, The embarrassment.
His mom would beat him for losing a pencil.
Yeah. My mom would beat your ass to the next zip code.
Yeah, and then Jim saw the kid that was stealing his pencils, and he beat the ever-living shit out of the kid on the playground.
Just about the entire recess, I kneeled on his collarbone and just punched him. And the lady came. I remember the playground lady. She's this big old German woman. She comes over. There's a circle of kids. She comes over to see what's going on. She looks through the circle, sees me, sees a kid. I'm punching him. I look at her. She looks at me. She did an military about face and walked straight the other direction because that kid had been like a pain in the ass the entire school year. He was just nuts. And as a matter of fact, about 2 weeks later, he got removed from school, and we found out he got sent to an institution because they couldn't control him at home. He had a mental issue. But anyway, yeah. So my mom beat me up for losing the pencil, and I found this kid, and I gave it to him in kind.
Mr. Sadie, a boy I went to high school. He was not my best friend, but we hung around in the same group. He had a panel van when he started driving. His dad bought him a panel van, and he fixed it up on the inside of it. It didn't hurt.
It?
He had carpet. He had everything on the inside of that thing. But his dad was a carpenter, a home builder. So they were putting in fancy woodwork and stuff like that. I know for a fact that girls' fathers hated to see him drive up to pick up their daughter. And when he got married, he had 6 daughters. 6.
Oh boy.
And he said God, one set of them, he had 3, and they were going to try one more time for a boy, and they ended up having triplet girls. He said that was God's way of getting back to him.
Oh boy.
For causing those fathers stressed all those years.
I had a 1977 baby blue. It was a Plymouth Trail Duster, which is the same thing as the Dodge Ram Charger, but it was a Plymouth.
Right.
We got it from the Rawhides Boys Ranch. That's that it's for like troubled youth or whatever. Bart Starr had that thing in central Wisconsin where they like rebuilt it. They get these vehicles either donated or they buy them.
They fix them.
And they would they would customize them. Yeah, my dad bought this thing. It had the entire back end of the thing was blue shag carpeting, and you just pulled a couple pins and the rear seat came out. So you got this big area in the back. You had 2 bucket seats in the front, and this is one of these full size, like an SUV, but full size, like the old big old Blazers and Bronco, the old Broncos, all shag carpeting in the back. And I would pull up to take a girl to the drive-in in that. And you could just see the old man, his eyes, the girl's old man's eyes would just be rolling in the back of his head.
Oh boy. Oh, we're looking at the poor sleeping Boston Terrier.
She's still sleeping, isn't she? She's breathing, isn't she?
I see her belly moving.
Okay.
She might be snoring, but she's definitely
touch its eye, make sure it's still
She looks like she's got kind of fat, Todd. She looks like a little piggy laying there. She looks fat like Mabel, like a tater tot. She's real fat.
Mabel, what are you talking? I think she's body shaming. Aw.
So,
Jenny.
It's getting late. So before I have to depart, how's business been for y'all, Tara?
It was all right this weekend.
What's that?
eBay sales. I mean, during the week, it was. We had a real bad day last week.
Was it
Friday or Thursday? Yeah. We were doing good at the beginning of the week. Then we had like a day slowdown. We had a 0 day, which we never had.
Yeah, we're like, oh my God, this is like fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, one day it was like, you got to be at 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We made the entire 24 hours, 0 sales.
It was crazy.
One day. And then Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday were good. It was Friday. It was
Friday. It was a shitty day.
And then Saturday and Sunday were pretty good.
But I was gone for a whole week up to Illinois there. So, I mean, I guess I didn't list for a week in there. And then I did list some when I came home. And now I'm doing Louisville, so I've been missing some days.
I think people are penny pinching, but eventually they got to let go of some of it. I mean, it's because they can't help themselves.
Yeah.
We're right here when they slip.
Just keep listing. When the fish run, hopefully you hook them. I mean, it does get discouraging when you have bad days in there, but I mean, I guess just keep working through it because eventually when the fish make the run, hopefully your bait's in the water and you hook them. Yeah. So
this bicycle stuff that I've been selling, it amazes me that people will pay $50 for a daggum seat for a bicycle. But then the guy that I sold one on Facebook Marketplace and I met him and so he picked it up. He was talking about his frame on his bicycle is like $1,000.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and
his,
some of that Trek bike stuff or other brands like those frames or
he's one
carbon
of those.
fiber stuff.
He's one of the.
We've got a Trek bike in a storage unit. And we sold the carbon fiber wheels
for
for it.
200.
Did we get 100 a wheel for them?
Yeah, it was
Or I thought it was
$200.
more. Anyway.
Or maybe it was 250.
I think it's 250.
His rims are like $300-400 a piece.
Yeah.
and
Oh, ours new would have been
years on it. He said, you don't go to he says, my bike, and he said, I'm not bragging. He said, you don't go to a bike store and buy my bike.
Oh my God. Jim stopped at the thrift store like 3 weeks ago. I was gone. And he's like, oh my God. And they were rolling it out the thing. They had a really nice
$100
bike.
recumbent bike
$100 recumbent bike. I mean, even to part it out.
with spare wheels and everything. I'm like that. I looked at the brand, I didn't recognize it, so I go into Walmart. As I'm walking into the Walmart, I'm checking on my smartphone, and then I see the listings. I'm like, oh my God! Shove my phone back in my pocket, hop back in the car, go about 4 blocks to the thrift store, and there's a guy with a big grin on his face. He's wearing one of those stupid painter caps that those bicycle guys wear. He's with a big grin on his face, some bicycle guy in his bicycle shorts. I'm like, you bicycle son of a bitch. Anyway, he got out from under me.
But
It was my fault. I should have bought on the spot.
Snooze, you lose.
Yep.
But the guy said that's his hobby. He's one of the guys that when you get out, well, down here, maybe not in Kentucky or Boondocks, Texas, but you see a covey of bikers go by in their little biking outfits and their little helmets, and he's one of those kind. And he said that's his hobby. That's his only hobby, and he rides.
Yeah, biking was really big in northern Wisconsin. They put in like these millions of dollars worth of these bike trails and everything. And
Right.
I do see some people bike, but I'll tell you on these like county roads because they're much of a shoulder and they drive like crazy here. I would be scared to ride a bike on the road. I would go take a bike to the park, but on the road, I don't know if I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you hear that song called that Jason Aldean song? Try that in a small town. Yeah, you don't want to try bicycling on the side of the road.
Yeah, they drive like nuts, and yeah.
But honestly, when you think, you put it all into perspective. Hobbies are expensive. I can go down to the dive shop and I can drop $5,000 easy.
Yep.
And I can tote everything. I can tote everything out of there. You go play golf, you spend a shitload of money for a good set of clubs.
Yep.
I mean, it's just what your thing is. But like I said, I was surprised. But then when he started talking about how much his frame was and his rims are and all this kind of stuff. But he said, his 10-year-old boy could pick it up and put it in the back of their truck, which is a Chevy 2500 Silverado 4-wheel drive. It's got every damn thing on it you can get from General Motors. And I said, I said, that's really a nice truck. Do y'all go like 4-wheeling or anything like that? He said, it's never been off the dirt, off the pavement. That's the reason it costs so much to buy a freaking truck these days, because all these people buying them because they're cool looking and,
I don't know if I don't know if truck sales are as good as they used to be.
Well,
with gas prices going up, I bet you. Because I just noticed here, for a while the dealership didn't have much inventory, but there's a used dealership. I would say they're a lot right now. This is a farming area. They used to sell a lot of trucks. It's 80% cars and like what I call gas saving vehicles, and the rest is trucks. There's not that many trucks over there.
My brother has got, I think he's driving a Dodge now, but it's a new Dodge, and it's got the surround sound. Every seat's got its own screen. You got except for the driver's seat, because you're not supposed to drive while he's got to look at the middle. But I mean, it's got like everything heated, cooled, everything. The special truck bed, all this crazy stuff. It never goes off the road either. But he works in an office all day. He likes to take his family out on these trips out. They go out to like Colorado. They go down to Florida. They'll do all these trips where they pull this.
They don't do that anymore.
Well, I guess they're switching on that. But when they were doing that, they pull a 5th-wheel camper with it. So that's the only reason. He don't really need the truck for anything else. Like at hunting season, we'd go hunting together. He'd park his truck way back. We'd have to walk in a long way because he didn't want to drive through the sticks and get his truck scratched up, Or I'd have to come out and get him with my 4-wheel drive so he didn't scratch his up because it was too pretty. But they're using them to pull campers, is what they're doing with them.
Does anybody have a V6 in their truck? a 150, a 1500 or bigger. Because that's if you go to like the Ford dealership or the Chevy dealership, that's all they have in town is like the F-150s or the 1500s with V6s in them.
Well, that's probably your most economical price thing with a V6. I mean, why have a truck with a V6?
It's okay to have a straight six like in a diesel.
I don't know. I
You know,
don't
if you
know
got like
whether-
a dump truck or something, but
I
I
just
never
see
understood
I
it.
just see V6. I mean, I just see the six
Yeah.
cylinder. I mean, Tara rags my ass about a 150 with a V8 in it. On using it to
I had a 150 with a V8.
carry eggs with it. What the hell would you, Tara? What do you suggest carrying in a 150?
I wouldn't own
with a
one because I
V6?
would never use for it.
I had
mean,
a 1980 custom deluxe Chevy pickup truck, standard cab. I mean, and I thought that was a lot of truck. You know, I could haul stuff with it. Before the springs bent real bad. Because I just didn't understand that. The difference between that and our actual truck.
when I first got horses, I had a half-ton Chevy. It had a V8. Is that like a 305
Glenn.
that's in that GMC?
Nikki.
Something like that.
Once you wind up on a real big one, I mean a truck that's got some
That
length,
3/4 ton is a nice truck.
girth, and weight. Yeah, I know but once you've been
Both of my 3/4
once
tons
you've been
were.
in the F-50, it's hard to go down. Like I don't think I could drive a regular truck anymore.
I got an F350 in my driveway, and he's like, "Oh, this needs to be taken care of. I'd like to get my hands on this truck. I'd like
No, an
it."
F-350.
Yeah, I said an
No, you
F350.
said 5.
No, I didn't. I
You
said
said an
three.
F-350. Was this before you met him?
No, I had Chevys before I met him. I
Okay.
never owned a.
Because we did good with the box trucks, and then we decided it was okay.
Yeah.
I was Chevy too, but then the box truck worked out so good, then we started switching over to Fords. And at 7.3,
I
diesel
still
is
like
amazing.
Chevy better than a Ford. I'll tell you just because I think for a total package, you have a better ride and everything, but that's my personal preference.
But then you need to get like a Kodiak. You need the big Chevy.
Oh, I'd love to have a Kodiak.
Yeah. Don't chain yourself to a small, tiny little, small truck.
I would definitely buy a
You
Kodiak.
shop around, you get yourself a decent big truck, and you won't be disappointed.
My dad at one time it was like in the 70s, maybe 77. He had a F-150 with a 460. Is it 464? Was that Ford's or 460? Because 460, one of them is Chevy, one of them is a Ford.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think the Chevy is like a 454. Does that sound right? What's the gas big motor?
He had like a 460.
In gasoline, I've been doing diesel's metric, like 7.36 or 6.5. Not that sucker, 6.5, but I think we make it.
That sucker would run with pulling a 21-foot winter back boat on behind it with full tanks of gas. It would pull it like it was nothing at 70 miles an hour. And then when he bought him a new truck, which had just like a 5.0 V8. He's like, what happened to all the power? He ended up selling that truck to a guy that was building a racing boat, and they rebuilt the engine and put it in that racing boat. And I don't know how that boat stayed in the water.
That I think that 5 liter is like a 305. It's either, I always get them mixed up with a Chevy and Ford, but it's like it's either a 303 or a 305 engine. And they put a lot of those like in Mustangs and stuff like that, but then they start putting them in bigger cars. And yeah, it's not and trucks. It don't have a.
Are you sure? I mean, are you sure? Is that right? Azure Blue, they're banning gasoline cars sales in 2035 in California. How are those people going to
Yeah, I think so, because they already have some kind of ban where like it's by like 2030 or 2032 they can't use like for lawn equipment. You're gonna have to have all battery stuff, no more like 2-cycle, chainsaws or weed eaters and shit. I think that's California too.
Have you seen California people? Okay, life decisions. Okay, just look. Use your eyes. Just look at what's going on there. I mean, it's not the gas engine thing is not a huge surprise.
Well, they're not going to be able to buy anything because stores keep closing and moving out. So maybe it'll help the reselling industry by shipping.
Well, they're huge. That state by itself is a bigger economy, not bigger than the United States, obviously, because it's in the United States, but I'm trying to think of a country that has a bigger economy. I mean, maybe China, probably now. But I mean, just the state of California is bigger than the vast majority of countries' economies in the world. I mean, just if you put California by itself. So that's the problem with California, is that's why they can dictate what happens, is because that's where the money's at.
Well, I'm going to buy me some land down in Texas, so when they succeed from the Union, I'm going to move to Texas. I'll be
You
saying,
don't know how
oh,
many
man.
Texans want that too.
Do I?
You don't know how many Texans want that too.
Oh, yeah, I do.
All right,
I've been-
folks. On that note, oh wait, what have we got here?
Wait a minute, is secession illegal?
It's in their. It's in their.
Oh, that's right. Don't they?
maybe
Yeah,
not.
they have something in their constitution. Some deal was made that they could go back if they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I may be going to Texas. I like Kentucky, but I could live in Texas. I like Dallas, the show.
Bring your
Who
money.
did you have pop in there?
I don't know. It says the name says Jokester, and I put him on for a moment, and then I thought, better not.
That
Oh,
says,
boy.
Probably the
So,
government.
was that
On
Scott?
that note, I gotta go feed 2 herds of cats.
Oh boy,
So-
well, good luck herding cats.
I'm
He's a
just
cat
feeding them. I
wrangler.
ain't gonna hurt them.
He's a cat farmer. Sometimes making extra money for ranching cats.
Yeah. Both Gwen and her mom feed the neighborhood cats, so I gotta go feed both herds. All right, folks.
All right.
This has been your Silverhairstacker and Tom and Tara and Tim, Jim. Tim.
Jim and Jim and
I tried to keep it all
Too many
T's, but Jim
T's.
screwed it up.
yeah.
And yes, it's true. The left has lost all reality. So
It's gone. Go back
Oh,
to the 60s.
here
Go
he
back to
is.
the 80s.
is that Jason? Okay. Never mind. We're shutting it down.
All right. Let it go, Todd. Shut her down.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go before you have somebody do something naughty. Anyway.
Let's see.
all right.
Where's the end broadcast button? Thanks everybody for coming. We'll be on Tom, the Queen City Pickers channel
I'm
tomorrow.
not giving you a whole popsicle.
All right. Bye.
And
Bye.
he's gonna play piano for us. And
Yeah.
Oh, there
right.
you go.
Who? What?
I'm going to be in Louisville tomorrow, so you won't see me.
Oh, who's playing piano?
Tom.
No, I'm
All
not,
right.
because I don't have a piano anymore.
What? And you committed?
Yeah, you committed to it. You better get a
Go
piano.
find you one of those Casio keyboards. They're always on Facebook Marketplace for like
Oh
20
my
bucks.
God.
We got 3 of them around here. And
There
nobody-
you go. Crack one out.
Plug it in.
All right.
Bye.
Put it on that MIDI sounds or whatever.